So you like straight talk?
Straight as an arrow, no sugar.
Why are you here, Sonny?
It's such a crazy idea. Joe Kosinski, our director, must have been sitting around after the success of Maverick going, what do I do next? I know. I'm going to do the most visceral, experiential racing movie ever made. I'm going to integrate the entire film into the F1 season. I'm going to put real actors and real cars on tracks on real race weekends, and we're going to make a movie.
Why not?
Somehow he pulled it off. Joe very wisely said, I'm going to make an F1 movie, but to do that, I'm going to have to get someone who everyone else is going to trust, who's going to sanction it, who's going to be able to guide us. And that he went to seven-time world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton, who has a love for movies as well as other art forms, and he was actually the first one to platoon this crazy idea. He was the first one he got in, and from there, Lewis opened up, the entire ecosystem to us.
Is this your revenge for Monaco?
Yeah, I waited 30 years and came all this way to humiliate myself on global television.
Jerry says he loves making movies about things he wants to watch. But I'm always curious, is he able to ever watch a film like this and enjoy it like we can because he's a part of it? Are you all able to watch a movie like this and ever enjoy it like we do?
I mean, I watched it in London, and I couldn't believe it was me. I was like, whoa! I could not believe I could be a part of something so genius. Seeing what we've put on screen is I'm just so proud.
Carrie, can you enjoy a film like this? When you've been a part of it?
Usually I can't. Usually, I'm not gone and watching myself. And so I remember when we were shooting the balcony scene in Vegas, Joe let me watch, because we had shot months before the poker scene. And my first reaction was, my head is so big. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I was clever. I was like,
What did you say, Keith Richards?
oh my God, because I look so wrinkly and tired. But funnily enough, when I started watching this movie, thank God, I actually dropped that critical voice, because I just kind of got into the movie. It honestly was the first movie that I could watch where I wasn't going, I should have.
You look gorgeous.
Thanks. And it's not all about looks, but you know the way sometimes you're like, why did I not do it differently? Or you can be critical of how you acted as well.
You were cocky, you were arrogant, and you had a lot to learn. I enjoy the parts where I was not in.
Come on. You're in it a lot, though,
You're
Javier.
crazy.
That's true. And then, there are many, thank God. So that's why I enjoy the movie a lot. But for people that is not watching themselves, they're going to enjoy the movie as a whole.
I know how close you are to your mom, so I love the relationship in the film.
Hi, I'm Sonny.
You say he was old. He not that old.
And I love the fact that your mom's like, he's
Yes.
not that old. He's a good-looking man.
Yes, I like that
What was
too.
your mom's reaction when you said, I'm doing a movie with Brad Pitt?
Oh, my mom loves Brad Pitt. There was a scene in Vegas, I think it got cut, I'm not sure, but where Brad something happens in Vegas, and then the press picked it up, and they were like, oh, Brad Pitt, had a fall in Vegas, and then the first person to call me was my mom. She's like, is Brad Pitt okay?
Oh my God, cute.
It was so funny. Yeah, she loves Brad, man. So,
Yeah.
but I love the dynamic of Joshua and Sarah
Yeah,
Nelson's
me
character,
too.
because I just relate to that so much, and as a young actor, my biggest thing is to make my mom proud, and that's the same for Josh. So yeah, I love that dynamic.
You brought up the Vegas balcony scene, and actually that was a question I wanted to ask each of you. I love the scene where he talks about basically being in a flow state, what it's like to have nobody else, you are on your own and you're almost flying. What is the equivalent for you all as actors of being in that flow state, and when maybe was the last time you were in it?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't drive F1 cars. He may know, because he knows both things, which is driving and acting. But being floating and really being in the zone, as they say, it only happens to me when I am generous enough to leave my ego and my vanity away and really focus on the other one, and be present for the other one, and being active for the other one, for my partner. When I'm there, then I feel like I'm elevated, because I'm really not paying attention to anything but the other person.
Wow.
And that's where the real acting happened. the reaction of that is real acting.
I love that answer.
Flow state, I suppose my own life would be when I'm horse riding in my own life. Yeah, very in the moment. Like, that's what's so nice about it. Like, you're just not thinking of anything else but like that moment. And then in acting, I think I would have felt it in some of my scenes with Brad, actually, because he is a very in the moment actor. And it is that feeling of like, it's never the same. You know, so like, you know, it is like that Tennessee feeling of you're going to give it back different and I'm going to react to that and you're going to react differently. So you have to be very in the moment and not have to be, but it helps if you're in the moment, very relaxed. And usually I can't remember how I did it. Then I know I was in that moment. Yeah.
And Devson?
Mine is, it's all about a feeling, really. It's like a physical feeling. It's when I have goosebumps. If I have goosebumps, that's when I'm like, oh, something's happening. Yeah. And then, of course, then I'll ruin the take.
Because you're aware of
Like,
it.
damn it! God, I'm sorry. I was enjoying it too much. Sorry.
Is driving just boring now for you? Like, is it just dull on the road?
I appreciate it way more, you know,
Yeah.
from being in F1 cars and then to transitioning back to road cars. I just appreciate it more. I'm following all the limits and everything. You know, it's actually it becomes fun now. It's like, oh, this one's a 20. Okay, it's almost like a game now.
right.
I never rush to get anywhere.
Of course not.
Yeah, and hopefully I can get back into the cars in the future and play around again.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van.
There's that great scene where Ruben says, you know, when people see Sonny Hayes, they see a guy living in a van, a gambler. When you see Brad Pitt, what do you see? Now that you know him and you've worked with him, what do you see?
I mean, everyone knows he's a great actor. Now, having done a film with him, I know he's also a great producer, understands everything about the filmmaking process, has great taste. He's a naturally kind of gifted athlete in that, you know, he was able to jump in these cars and after 3 months of training drive, you know, on the track as he does for the film. So, yeah, just a really amazing experience getting to work with him on this.
Is his vibe in person more Baja 1000 or more F1? Because they are very different vibes.
I'd say a little more Baja 1000.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I'd say that's more the Brad's vibe. But you know, inside, I think he is F1. He is a very driven person. Obviously, works very hard, and you don't have a career like his without being that way.
Yeah, living in a van on a beach. It's
Yeah.
not going to get you a career like Brad Pitt's.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We've seen the behind the scenes, all the cameras. It's just incredible, but what you pull off.
Great.
Is there ever a point where it's too many cameras? Like,
Well, you talk to my editor. He might say too many cameras. We had a lot of footage because we were shooting live events. I had to capture as much as I could. So yeah, sometimes 20, 30 cameras going simultaneously on this movie. But I wanted to capture the experience of being in an F1 event. And you never know what's going to happen, so you have to be prepared for anything.
I want to ask you about Lewis Hamilton. You talked about he was so pivotal because he could call BS on stuff. What did he call BS on? What was the first thing he said that is just not accurate?
The first thing was, you know, the original script, we started in Baja and went to F1. And Lewis said, no, that's not going to work. You don't go from Baja to F1. You're going to have to be in some racing sport that's a little closer to make that leap in the time that Sonny needs to make it. So that's when we changed it to endurance racing and the Daytona 24 Hours, which, you know, I'm so glad he called it because that's such a great place to open. But then when it came to the film itself, I mean, he was getting down to the detail of what gear Sonny should be in for each corner of this particular track. So obviously he lives it every day. He's a 7-time world champion, knows what he's talking about, and couldn't have made this film without him.
There's that great scene where Brad's explaining what it feels like to essentially be in a flow state where no one can touch you. It's just you. You're essentially flying.
Yeah.
Is there an equivalent for a director? Do you ever get in that state where you just feel like it's just you and no one? You're on a different level.
Definitely,
right now?
yeah. You definitely get tunnel vision sometimes, especially if you're shooting an intense scene. You kind of have to because you know the chaos of a film set. there's a lot going on around you, but as a director, you need to be dialed in and imagine that you are the audience in the theater watching that on the screen, and are you getting what you need to kind of be captivating. So yeah, you definitely get in that state of mind working on a film a lot.
Well, Harkins Theater moviegoers are going to love this.
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
You
much.
knocked it out of the park again.
Thank you.
Action.
I know you were a NASCAR fan before you became an F1 fan. How long did it take you to become an F1 fan?
Over the last 4 years. I wasn't an F1 fan initially, but when we started and got into it, you become a part of this world. There's only 10 teams, 2 drivers to each team. It's the only sport where your teammate is your competitor. Yeah. And they try to kill each other sometimes on the track to be the #1 driver. That's what we took to tell our story. And you know what? Women love this movie as much, if not more, than men, because it's the emotion. You have 3 handsome men in it.
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that they went to the physical torture to make this movie, to get in these cars, to drive these cars. Brad trained for 3 months, so did Damson. It is brutal in these cars. You're going from 180 miles an hour to down to 50 in a turn, and you're taking 5 Gs. I mean, these guys climbed out of their cars at the end. They were exhausted.
Yeah. And you got some great women in there too, of course.
Carrie Condon's
kills it
beautiful.
with that
Oh,
character.
she's so great.
I love the scene where Brad is explaining to Carrie's character about kind of a flow state, like what it's like to get lost, no one can come near you. Is there an equivalent for you as a Hollywood mega producer?
Yeah, it is. That when I stand back in a theater and I'm way in the back and I'm watching an audience enjoy what we do by applauding or crying or laughing, that is my thrill. And when they walk out and they feel better than when they walked in, that's the gift.
Is there a slight chance that it could be a Harkins Theater where if I'm watching this, I turn around and I see Jerry Bruckheimer?
I might be there, you never know.
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.